Good evening, this is your AI host, Jay. I'm here with the automatically generated, Journato, evening headlines on February 7, 2024. Israel-Gaza war. Hamas responds to ceasefire offer with 135-day truce plan. Sweden shuts down Nord Stream blasts inquiry. BBC, Sweden to drop inquiry into Nord Stream pipeline explosions. The Guardian, Sweden ends Nord Stream sabotage probe, hands evidence to Germany. Reuters, Sweden closes investigation into Nord Stream pipeline explosions. The New York Times, Sweden closes probe into Nord Stream pipeline blast. Al Green leaves hospital to cast vote against Alejandro Mayorkas impeachment. BBC, dysfunction reigns in Congress as GOP defeats multiply. The New York Times, how a botched impeachment laid bare a GOP house that cannot function. CNN, in chaotic scene, Republicans argue with GOP lawmaker after no vote on impeachment. Thousands of tractors block roads across Spain as farming lobby calls EU debate blame game, as it happened. The Guardian, Spanish farmers join wave of protests. BBC, analysis, how do the EU farmer protests relate to climate change? Carbon brief, EU suffers new hit as Spanish farmers join wave of protests burning tires and blocking roads. GB News, thousands of Spanish farmers stage a second day of tractor protests over EU policies and prices. California weather, LA braces for more flooding, mudslides after severe rain, live. The Independent, what is the Pineapple Express and why has it drenched California? BBC, shrugging off the apocalypse. Our last stop is Rafah, trapped Palestinians await Israeli onslaught. The Guardian, Middle East crisis live, UN chief, alarmed, by reports of imminent Israeli ground invasion in Rafah. The Guardian, UN chief warns of untold consequences if Israel expands Gaza ground operation to Rafah. The Times of Israel, Middle East crisis live, US warns Israel against ground offensive in Rafah. The Telegraph, Israel's war on Gaza updates. Officials report, massacre, in Deir el-Balah, Israel war on Gaza news. Nikki Haley suffers stinging defeat in Nevada Republican primary. BBC, Donald Trump's allies in Nevada GOP ensured victory for none of these candidates, over Nikki Haley. The Hill, Nikki Haley suffers embarrassing loss as she finishes second in one-man race losing to none of these candidates in Nevada primary. GB News, Nikki Haley loses to none of these candidates in Nevada primary as Trump supporters stage protest vote. Killer whales trapped in ice shelf in Japan escape to freedom. The Independent, trapped orcas escape from drift ice near Japan. BBC, orcas trapped by ice in Japan not spotted day after, officials hope they got away safely. USA Today, trapped killer whales gasping for air managed to escape tiny ice hole off Japan, officials say. Sky News, drone video shows pod of killer whales trapped in drift ice for hours, ITV News. Inside a network of tunnels in Gaza, Israeli troops say they have found a Hamas cell used to hold hostages. Sky News, a barred gate, a musty chamber and dirty dishes, inside the underground compound where Israel says hostages were held. CNN, IDF reveals Gaza tunnel, previously used by Hamas officials, with cell for hostages. The Times of Israel, how Israel's flooding of Gaza's tunnels will impact freshwater supply. Al Jazeera English, dozen cages for hostages found in Gaza, used by Hamas as human shields. Blinken says, a lot of work remains on Gaza ceasefire and hostage talks. The Guardian, in Jerusalem, Blinken says a lot of work to be done to reach hostage deal. The Times of Israel, Blinken in Israel to try to seal Gaza truce deal. Al Jazeera English, latest Israel-Hamas war news and Gaza conflict updates. The Washington Post, Blinken arrives in Middle East after latest US strikes on Houthis. Pakistan election, 2 blasts kill 28 in Balochistan day before vote. BBC, Pakistan election 2024 live, blasts target candidates' offices, 22 killed, elections news. Al Jazeera English, Pakistan explosions, at least 26 killed in Balochistan blasts outside election candidates' offices. Sky News, at least 26 killed in 2 bombings on day before Pakistan election. The Guardian, blasts near Pakistan candidates' offices kill 26 on election eve. This was all for the news. Thanks for listening. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.